Welcome back to the garage. If you watch motorcycle content on YouTube, you're probably familiar with Fort 9. I've been a big fan of that channel for several years. It was the first channel I started watching with any regularity. To give you an idea of its influence on me, Ryan, the main voice of the channel, even made me kind of want a Harley, something I thought I would never say. If you're familiar with Fort 9, you may also be aware of the record-breaking circumnavigation of the globe that Ryan and company recently pulled off, and the fact that they made a documentary about it. Having done a few iron butt days myself, I have a hint of understanding regarding the stamina that this achievement must have taken, and I'm excited to learn more about the ride. As fate would have it, Fort 9 is based a short 150 miles north of Seattle in Vancouver, BC, and on December 22nd, they're premiering the documentary at the Rio Theatre. Even though it will no doubt be wet and cold, it's my intention to ride up there and be at the screening. Unfortunately, fate has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works. Being a year-round rider in Seattle means you're going to get wet, sometimes very wet. A couple of weeks ago, there were several days of very wet. Bit of an issue with the daily driver, Ghost. On the commute this morning, I was heading down the freeway and I looked down at the speedometer, and even though I was turning 5,000 revolutions per minute and in sixth gear, the speedometer read 0. So I'm hoping that it's a problem with the speedo sensor, which I believe is just under this cover. So I'm going to open that up and have a look. On the way home, it was interesting because the speed was just bouncing all over the place. I was able to rule out the speed sensor and its connection to the wiring harness, but I was unable to do any further investigation at the time, and the issue seemed to go away on its own accord a couple of days later. I knew I would likely have to get into the instrument cluster to check things out, but it was easy to put it off. Okay, well, that all looks clean. At least it was before last Saturday. So unfortunately, my V-Strom has got a little bit of an issue. A few weeks ago, I had a problem with the speedometer kind of glitching out and going all over. You'll see my tack here is currently pegged. I was out running a couple of errands, and this is what my dash looks like now. It started flashing a bunch of red lights at me, and then the dash went completely blank. So I have to tear into the front end of this thing, and hopefully, praying I can figure out what's going on with it. Step 1, with the seat off, it's always a good idea to disconnect the battery anytime you're working on anything electrical, just in case. Step 2 is to get this side panel off. If you read the book, you got to start way back here and take all this stuff off. But if you undo this fastener and another clip fastener like that on the bottom and get the button out, you can just kind of pull this back to get at the fasteners for that. Now we can get this cover off, which has 3 Allen head screws, and there's like a clip and some Velcro behind here. That's where the Velcro is, and that clip is right here and hooks in here. And now we have to take off this little front tank cover, which has got 2 more, I think these are 4mm, and 2 more of those button style clips. I never really like this one. It always feels like I'm breaking something when I take it off. From here, the whole cowl assembly comes off, and there are 2 more Allen heads down there, And then under here, so let me go around to the other side. There are 2 bolts right there that hold the head on, another Allen head on this side, and then there is the wiring harness that has to be unclipped. So I've just disconnected my headlight relay, and let's see if I can get the big wiring harness undone. Sometimes this is easier to wait until, yeah, I think I'm going to start to pull the cowl off first, and then I'll get those things. So to get to these nuts, I'm using a wobble on an extension so I can stick it through the side. Now, with those 4 fasteners off, it just lifts to the side and pulls off. It has to go to the side because it's got a bit of a hook on it. It's got a little bit of a friction to the radiator, if I remember right. Yeah, there it goes. Okay. Now I can access those electrical connectors and get it unhooked. Ta-da! So the first thing I'm going to look at are the electrical connectors, and I don't see any signs of corrosion on these, so these look like they're all good. So that does lead me to believe that it's water in the instrument cluster that was the problem. Newsflash, I may not have had to remove the cowl from the bike to access the meter. I'm still not 100% sure, but I'm just studying this a little bit and looking at how to get to it, and it looks like all the fasteners are where I could have gotten to them anyway. Oh well, live and learn. So I'll take this cover off and see what I see behind that then. So it looks like there are 6 of the Allen heads and 2 of the button clips. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to get to these because they're kind of buried under this edge, but maybe that'll come apparent so if I get the other stuff out of the way. Okay, that gives me enough movement to get to this. There was a rubber button that was holding it on. So now I'll disconnect that. And look at that. Okay. We have some corrosion in here. That is likely the source of my problem. Well, poop. There is even one broken pin. You can see all this bluish corrosion down here. That pin right there is still stuck in. And I can see in here where it is broken off. Darn it. So I guess the first thing I'm going to do is see if I can pick that broken piece out of there. That's going to be just about impossible, isn't it? And as you can see, I've got the wire out. Took me a little while to figure out how to do this, and YouTube was a big help. But that black panel there is a locking tab, and so you need to get that to release. And then if you stick a de-pinning tool down there, I just used a pick, it'll release and you can pull the wire out the back. So now I'm trying to use my special carb tool to see if I can push the pin out of the connector. That was pretty stressful with my old man eyes, but I got the pin out. So now I can get the plug, or the wire back into the plug and lock it back down. I found a small electronic repair shop with good reviews that's not too far away, and they sound like they can replace the broken pin. I hopped on my DR350 and took a little ride to Gadget Rehab. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Were you the gentleman I talked to on the phone about the motorcycle dash?
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that this fix is going to work, but I'm cautiously optimistic. As always, thanks for watching.